The Industrial Revolution and its consequences has been a disaster for the human race. They have greatly increased the life expectancy of those who live in more advanced countries and. Wait a second. But they have destabilized society, have made life unfulfilling, have subjected human beings to indignities, have led to widespread psychological suffering in the world, in the third world countries, to physical suffering as well, and have inflicted severe damage on the natural world. The continued development of technology will worsen the situation, but will certainly subject human beings to greater indignities to and inflict greater damage on the natural world. It will probably lead to greater social distribution and psychological suffering, and it may lead to increased physical suffering even in advanced countries. And guess what is this video about? But anyways, as Ted Kaczynski said, guess what is this video about? The Industrial Revolution and its consequences, how it will worsen the life or the life expectancy or just the overall quality of life of, you just a regular Joe Schmo person that, have no fucking overpowering power or status. Just the regular person, just like you and I. Not really me. I'm below average. I'm just fucking subhuman in the matter of status and money. Because I live in a third world countries, and because of the fact that industrial revolution, its consequences have greatly decreased because it increased the life expectancy of those who live in a more advanced countries. Me, who live in a kind of a not really so advanced country, it will obviously gonna do some sort of like the quite the opposite of an impact on me, who lives in a more not so advanced country because of the high hyperinflation that is happening, and the because of the fact that dollar is becoming fucking more expensive and more, and something like bread, fucking food, or any kind of resources that make a human being function and work and make him a living organism or a living homo sapien organism that he is. But obviously it just because becomes so fucking cheap. So yeah, or expensive. No, but enough from the yapping. So I was talking about like the industrial revolution and its consequences and how is it gonna impact the world, and whether it's third world countries, first world countries, it's gonna impact all humanity as all. But moving on. So we need to define what it is industrial revolution first. So industrial revolution, I'm just gonna like monkey explain it. Monkey used to have a job. Monkey used to get sticks, and these sticks he used to make planks with it. Monkey used to cut the planks after gathering them, and Monkey used to make bed so Monkey can sleep on. But then Monkey, another monkey, bigger monkey, you know, got or his not bigger like he just like bigger and like it just manager monkey. Manager monkey said, "Oh, I need more logs." So manager monkey made a machine so it can cut the logs easier. And now monkey, instead of working two jobs and getting paid twice for twice these things or these two things, monkey's only getting paid one thing because he got replaced with a machinery. That is what his industrial revolution is about. It's not only like that's not only the impact that is like it's gonna negatively impact the that's it's not like the only negative impact that is gonna like impact on the world. It's just gonna obviously um is gonna replace the job of someone or something like that. It's not because like it's not a really like good of a fucking example too. It's not like that, but it obviously is. But it just there's so many other reasons that it just makes this one. It's just in the comparison or the percentile, it's just so fucking much smaller than it way more than it is. So that's how I explain define, industrial revolution in monkey ways so your fucking little small nut brain, can get what did I say? Or what does it mean? So what is the consequences? Let's analyze the goodies, the good sides of it. Well, more demand on things, more production, more production. Obviously, they're gonna need more machinery, so it's obviously gonna need more machines, and more machines are gonna make more products, and more products are gonna go for more customers. Damn, isn't that good? But when you realize, like that scene that I seen before on Willy Wonka, I think it was the father of that British kid in Willy Wonka factory and the chocolate factory. When he was like, putting on the caps or the caps of the toothpaste. I hope I display the video for you right now. I think most likely that I'm actually not gonna show it, and it shows a lot actually, and says a lot about me. How much of a boring or how much of a of not really so. It says a lot about me. Fuck you.
Dad,
Yes, Charlie.
why aren't you at work?
Oh, well, the toothpaste factory thought they'd give me a bit of time off.
Like summer vacation?
Sure. Something like that.
In fact, it wasn't like a vacation at all. The upswing in candy sales had led to a rise in cavities, which led to a rise in toothpaste sales. With the extra money, the factory had decided to modernize, eliminating Mr. Bucket's job.
I'm barely making ends meet as it was.
You'll find another job. Until then, I'll just, well, just thin down the soup a little more. Don't worry, Mr. Bucket. My luck will change. I know it.
Anyways, so damn, I'm out of words. It's quite literally 4 a.m. You don't care. Moving on. So yes, yeah, like this job existed. It's toothpaste. It's good for hygiene, and it's good for your hygiene and shit like that. But when you realize that this toothpaste existed to, get rid of the stinkiness and the bacteria that has happened to make your mouth not really so healthy and not make it function as good as it is, and that your teeth is literally the first thing when it comes to, or the first process, or, when you chew is the first process when it comes to the digestion process when eating, what digestion eating, what eating is, or you get your food that contains calories, energy, make us all move and function as any kind of living organism, make me move, go from point A to point B, whether depending on the speed or depending on any kind of activity that I'm doing it's energy. Energy. It's not replaced, it's not made, and it's not wasted. Energy. No, but no, for real. So, it doesn't make you stank in your mouth and it makes you healthy. But then you realize that, like this guy said before, modern problems require a modern solution. This is a modern problem. And you're gonna see that, yeah, thousands of years ago, pharaohs used to like use things like salt and like black pepper, so it can just like shake, like fucking do their teeth, and as sort of hygiene. But yeah, I know, but like it just now, because of the lifestyle that we already live, because of the industrial revolution and the how life is just becoming so much more easier, and how is that gonna do any kind of correlation to the replacement of humans? Or they replace like machines with humans and shit like that is gonna do with machines, and obviously machines are gonna, make products, and it's gonna make life easier for humans, and it's because they don't lack resources, they don't lack food, and they don't lack all the things that make people thousands of years ago thrive for and actually work their fucking ass off, and fucking go from countries to countries, especially if you're like an Arabian or something like that. You literally fucking travel countries to countries so you can just obviously live a sustainable, fulfilling life, right? And find your food and find your resources so you can be alive. So the fact that like life becomes so much easier, just people just need to, they need to find a, they need to get a life. How they gonna get a life? Well, people now, because of the normalization and the adaptation of living of a city or in a city, they gotta live in a city and live the lifestyle of a citizen or, civilian in a city, live the civilized life of everybody living in a city, like traveling and, going your day to day places with automobiles and machines and shit like that is gonna transfer you from point A to point B regardless of where you're going or you're gonna do. And it's just like when you realize that oh this like lifestyle just make life so much easier that to find fulfillment in life because of how much life is boring. Because like hard times, as much as it's hard, it doesn't make you like it just like it says a lot about like there's a strong correlation to the like human mind too that it just gets so fucking much like so bored it cannot just like it can't just exist and function like your brain I'm talking about. It kind of just like doesn't do anything. No, it does need to do something. Just think. I mean, well, it's not enough now because of the messed up dopamine receptors and how much people are dependent on dopamine because of the access of things like social media, short form content, and etc. etc. And yeah, it's really kind of messed up. So it's kind of sad to be honest. But moving on. So, um, what was I talking about? Yeah, so people, why is the industrial revolution is gonna be bad for them? So like I said, it's gonna make life easier. They got all the resources, all the things that our ancestors, fucking 5,000 years ago used to thrive and fucking work their ass off and get the fucking deer and just kill it and finally just provide their family with food and water, right? To make them function and live because that's it's just we are a fucking living surviving like mechanism. We just only exist to survive and thrive for survivism, right? So when you realize that you have everything, so what are you gonna do next, right? You don't have anything to do, so it's gonna lead you to things like hobbies, and if you don't have hobbies you're gonna feel like your life is unfulfilling and it's not gonna feel happy. So, or just not only happy, just like it's not gonna, you don't have a purpose. So you're gonna get into this rabbit hole of using instant gratification, and whether it's like pornography or any kind of cheap thing that gives you instant gratification, it just gratificates you at the moment, or short term, you know. And by short term, I mean like at the moment or like it's just short term like on the what is a short term and the to a fucking human short term is how something happened depending on an event or something that you're doing, but on the matter of instant gratification I mean like by short form content or things like any kind of content so they just lead to dopamine and unhealthy lifestyle and shit like junk food and all of these things that your body is just not used to, and just obviously it's gonna impact you negatively. It's gonna impact that body, this only one body that you have for the next fucking 75 years, or I don't know how, depending on how much how old you are right now, 18 or something, what how much you have, like estimatedly, like let's say like fucking 55 years. Okay, 75 you're gonna be. 55 years you have left. You only have one body. If you messed it up, then it's over for you, little bro, little bud. Rope Max. But anyways, so yeah, that's all because of the Industrial Revolution. What else? Not only that, that's only just because of me, just like the regular fucking person, just mentality, right? But I know that a really smart fucking person that have the much or read the book, they're gonna have more and more information about it. But it just I read the title, I read the headline of it, and I just I just sit fucking I'm actually gonna fucking make a video about it. So yeah, so well, it kind of does correlate Like all of this, it just correlates to every single problem that we're living right now. Just like point out and just actually fucking give like a just do like physically. I'm not joking. Just physically point out like a problem, even if it's not a physical like touchable kind of like problem that we live in, whether it's a psychology, ideology, or any kind of something like that. Just point out any kind of problem, and I 100 fucking percent guarantee you that it's actually gonna correlate to an extent. Really great correlation too to the industrial revolution. Well, except if it's like genetical standpoint or genetical thing that happened to you, through your life. So it obviously, it gives you some deficiencies in life, and you can't really function that well. Whether you can't really hear that well, or you can't smell that good, or you look like shit. Even though that looking, most likely is not only you're not deformed. Most likely, I said, you're not deformed from because of from your mom's vagina. Right off the bat, you just like fucking got down from your mom's vagina. You already set on fucking super high difficulty, like fucking shit, impossible difficulty, dark nightmare difficulty. Because when you realize that, like I think that I said before, why looks are everything. I said in several videos, and I actually gonna talk about in a video before, because obviously looks are everything. Because people without fucking saying a word, people are gonna just basically or they're gonna mostly base your personality, and they're gonna perceive who you are based on the way that you look, because they say a single word, right? And it's kind of superficial, it's kind of sad, but life has never been fair. It just, you always think that life is fair because, like I told you, life is fucking easy for you, and if something has to do with the Industrial Revolution and its consequences, it's been disaster for the human race. God, you're fucking stupid. Like, you just, everything just correlates to it, right? So, like I told you, just point out at something, and just like, like, what's the problem with that? Okay, so what's the problem with people dying so early and getting diabetes and shit like that? Industrial revolution, and life is getting easier. So instead of actually fucking finding a fulfilling life, and or they do have a life, but they just want to get out of this fucking trap cave and shit like that. Get their out of their fucking bubble, which is the routine that makes them fucking sad, and want to actually do something about their life. It just, most people are just gonna, instead of actually doing, change it, they instead just use instant gratification. So instead, they lead them to eat more carb filled and simplified carb filled food. So in return, you're gonna get fucking deficiency in insulin. So that means that you're gonna have fucking diabetes and you're gonna die, you fat bitch. Sorry, but yeah, that's number one. And like I told you, I can point out on any kind of fucking problem. Ozone layer, industrial revolution. It like all the fucking like prices are fucking like rising. Industrial revolution. Why is that? Why are we having inflation? Is it because of the fact that, I mean, it has so many layers to it, but I'm not gonna talk about that. So let's talk about something else, because this shit has so many layers to it. Especially I'm talking from the experience, because of the hyperinflation that is happening in Egypt right now. Because I am an Egyptian and I live in Egypt. So moving on. So let's point out something else. Why people are depressed and lonely and shit like that. People are lonely and depressed because of, number one, standards got so fucking high, and yes, standards got so high. And because of the standards got so high, men got more and more desperate. So they use some things like social media and social media apps, where it's a place that it gratificates women more and more and more and more, and it shows them so much more confidence than their actual fucking sexual value or sexual market values, and had the whole DR. So let's say that you're 5 out of 10 sexual market value. I know that's only men thing, but like it can apply to women too. So like let's say that you're like you're a 5 out of 10. It's kind of stupid, subjective, superficial thing to say, but let's say that you're 5 out of 10. You're gonna think that you're 8 out of 10 because of the fact that glazing, they're sucking and fucking glazing on that goddamn clitoris. You don't have a fucking dick, but they're just sucking on that goddamn clitoris and like that. That was not a good joke. Number two, men are desperate because of they get on things like Tinder and dating apps, because of it's like how much introverted they are, because their lifestyle is so easy, because they're most of the time they're fucking been in their their house. So instead of being socially more acceptable and being social, they instead just stayed home because it's just better and easier for them. it just everything correlates to the industrial fucking revolution, bro. Like it's just so fucking crazy, bro. Everything relates to it. So as Ted says, I think that Ted is a really smart man, and there's no denying about that. But the thing is about him, I think that I clarified and showed you my points. But let's talk about Ted. So I think that Ted Kaczynski, the guy that who made this book, I think its name is The Industrial Revolution and Its Consequences Manifesto, Unabomber Manifesto or something like that. So his psychology is that he want to get rid of the industrial revolution, living more like a life that really actually is a free animal or a free, because humans in the atheist and agnostic fellows' eyes are that are we are animals, even though that we're not, but kind of is. But it's just I just my fucking head, like I don't really. I don't know, bro. Like, I'm religious, but on the end, at the same time, like, not really, but the end, at the same time, believe in logic and science and shit like that. It's just, I don't know, bro. Just moving on for me. So, it's just like his ideology was that he want to get rid of this industrial life and make humans live just live the life that their ancestors used to live thousands and thousands and thousands years ago. Kind of makes sense, to be honest, because none of these problems that I said right now is gonna happen, right? It's gonna be more hostile of a environment. But what's the point of living 100 years while being a slave in a cage that I think that I am not a slave? The worst way I think that this quote was like, I mean, no. Being in a really big cage where you think that you're free is worse than being, or everybody is honest with you, that you are a slave and you're actually is a slave. Cause, cause it's tough, right? Once you just, once you wake up and and know all these things that you're not really free, you know, or you don't live in a free world, you're gonna really do appreciate and always gonna keep on your tongue and mind that ignorance is a bliss because of how much it is gonna leave you so depressed and sad. And that's the thing about being a man, right? And being a man is just accepting the thing that you can do really anything about it, or maturing, let's say, okay? Not only being a man. Maturing is realizing that things that you don't have any kind of control over, you can just, the best that you can do is just shrug it off and just forget about it. And yeah. So, whether you want to live in the jungle and, be just like Ted. Like, that's the thing about Ted that I realized that he just, he was a really educated and smart man. He literally went to Harvard and he was 16 and he graduated at 20. Well, he just, sped around life. And I think it has something to do with his ego. Like, he was kind of egotistical. And because he thought that life is only about logic, it's just like me growing up. I thought that I was like him, and not only I wasn't listening to people that who were older than me and more emotionally mature than me and my sisters and shit like that. And then I actually fucking regret it, because I'm not emotionally mature, and he wasn't as emotionally as mature. His ideology, his philosophy, his everything he was saying was so on point that he he had a great points. Like let's be for real, okay? But he just didn't have the best solutions. It was mostly based on hatred, emotions, and not really the smartest things to do, right? So that's the things that I disagree with him. It was kind of fucking stupid to send bombs to fucking people's mails. I think he killed over 3 people and injured 21 of them over the over the over 26 years. So, um, so yeah, it's he's just it just shows or says a lot about him too. Even though that in his story he always used the, I mean, I didn't read it. I heard about like a book, like an audiobook about it, like a summary, that he always used the plural us, as always us, we, and this and that. But yet in the same time, it really it was all about him. I know that he wanted make humans like live this lifestyle of just being humans and how they're supposed to be, just like any other animal, but yet in the same time, he didn't really know what he wants or what does he want. He was a grown man. He was like with a grown man. He's just like kind of like, I don't know, bipolar. It's just like had two fucking separate minds. Like a half of it is just like so fucking smart. It just like maxed out like the smartest on it, and the other part is just like a fucking man child, like um like brain, right? He's just like he was an interesting person, I would say, and he really, like I told you, didn't know what does he want. Because like I think that when I like heard like or read about him or like research about him, he wanted, I think at a point, to transition, and nothing wrong with that. It's your body, your choice, and he wanted to transition to a female, and it really does show and says a lot about him because he just backed off of it. He wanted to do that, but and then backed off again. He generally doesn't know what it is he wants. He's not emotionally enough mature to actually, like, I think it has something to do with like he was, I think that he was an egotistical person. Okay, he think that he's just him. He was just always like me. I can relate to him because I was always think because like I would say that on the spectrum of like being or the spectrum of like intelligence, I would say that I'm like kind of above average. Just slightly, I would say. It's just like when I always read about something, I just analyze it and make it so easy for me to understand and to give myself examples and giving myself day to day examples like that so I can make it easier for myself and, just make sense for me because the best way to make yourself learn something is to give yourself examples. So that was what I used to do and I still actually do. And how stupid it is if it's gonna make you get the idea of something, then it's not really stupid. It just this is stupid in the eyes of someone. It really is genius that the fact that he actually correlate or had an ability to correlate them together. But moving on. So summary is Ted Kaczynski was a really smart person, intelligent, and just just a knowledgeable guy, I would say. Only intelligent in that matter, but emotionally intelligent, nope. He was just completely man-child. Maybe his physical appearance says that he is a mature man, but that's the thing about your DNA and your fucking brain and how the fact that it just betrays someone and betrays someone's personality from just their looks. You can just look at a really unattractive person with like fucking a negative Kenthel with really really bad looks and it doesn't really take care of himself. So, pretty blue pilled and doesn't really care about looks, right? You can just like make so many assumptions about him, even though that he could be really an interesting of a person. But it's kind of sad. Like I told you, he could be physically a grown man and and when you actually still talk to him, unless you're not his fucking therapist, you're gonna think that he's a smart man. But once you actually have a deep conversation with him and have like emotional bondage with this man, you're gonna realize that this man was kind of unstable up here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really the smartest guy to like give you my takes or shit like that, but I'm a guy that who just loves and enjoys making content, and I just love talking to y'all. And yeah, so that's about the Industrial Revolution and its consequences. And I think that I'm gonna make even further video about it. And yeah, that's fucking over 26 minutes and 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, and 44, and go.